When I, 28 female, was 19, I got pregnant from a one-night stand. The father, Aiden, wanted to be around and was supportive from the start. We never got together, but we became very close friends. Unfortunately, when I was 8 months pregnant, Aiden died in a car accident. It devastated me, as well as his family. To this day, it haunts me that he could never meet our son, Brady. Aiden's family's been heavily involved in Brady's life since the beginning. Birthday parties, celebrations, etc. They always made me feel welcome. I started dating again when Brady was a toddler, and Aiden's parents, Michelle and Dan, encouraged me too. They said I deserved to be happy. They even watched Brady occasionally so I could go on dates. Brady's always been told about his dad. When Brady was a preschooler, I met Justin, now 31. It took 6 months for him to meet Brady, and they bonded very quickly from the start. A couple of months later, Justin met Aiden's family. They loved him. I was always clear with Justin that their family would always be in our lives, especially for Brady's benefit. He agreed it was for the best. I married Justin 2 years later. Brady began calling him Papa on his own. He still talked about Aiden and called him Daddy. I kept all the pictures of Aiden up. Brady proudly said he had 2 dads. Michelle and Dan seemed fine. A year later, Justin brought up adopting Brady, and I agreed. That's when Dan and Michelle began to show their displeasure. I explained that we'd never stop Brady from seeing them. We'd always talk about Aiden, show pictures, etc. We also planned on hyphenating their last name with Justin's. Dan and Michelle argued with me. I tried to keep things calm for Brady's sake, but then Michelle and Dan tried to stop the adoption. They took Justin to court. They said he'd been an unfit father, despite him having a job and a loving relationship with Brady. They also said that Justin was just after Brady's trust fund. For some context, Aiden was killed in an intoxicated driving accident. I took the driver to court and sued them for the damages of my having to be a single parent due to their negligence. All the money was put into a trust fund for Brady that he couldn't touch until he's 25. The overseer is also Aiden's sister, so it's not like she'd ever agree to sign it over to Justin. Justin has never shown interest and has money of his own. The judge threw it out for those reasons. They called Justin a variety of names in court and tried to demean his character, calling him a child stealer, etc. This came after years of claiming they loved him and thought he was perfect for me, which Aiden's sister testified in court. They later admitted to me that they'd made all this up to try to stop the adoption, and they never believed it. They lost the case and the adoption went through, but because of their contesting, it took longer and only went through last year. It also added extra court fees. Dan and Michelle have accepted things since, though I won't leave them alone with Brady in case they try to trash Justin again. Justin is cordial with them, coming around for Brady, but he keeps a wall up. He's not overly friendly like he once was. He'll smile and hype them up for Brady, but that's it. He says he's upset with what they put us all through, especially the emotional toll it put on me. Dan and Michelle came by to see Brady. Justin was once again polite but didn't say much. A few days later, Michelle told me she was hurt that Justin stopped making an effort. I told her she couldn't expect him to be the same after all they did and said in court. She said that they apologized and he accepted it. I said yes, but actions have consequences and they need to accept it. Dan told me I was insensitive to not take Michelle's side after all they've done. Their daughter, Brady's aunt, tells me that Justin and I are in the right. I don't know what to think and feel stretched between everyone. Am I the idiot for telling my former mother-in-law that she can't expect to have the same relationship with my husband as she used to? I never threatened to cut contact, so I truly believe they changed their mind. They say they see now that while Aiden will always be his dad, he deserves to have someone living to act as his father. They also understand that it's what Brady wants, to have the same last name as me, his papa, and his sisters. I believe they've truly changed. They just don't realize the true impact of what going to court has done to us. Oh my goodness, I can't believe they're demanding more from Justin. They're lucky you all didn't slam the door on that relationship altogether. I think I would have said, "Are you joking?" Because this is so unbelievable. The trust is gone and will likely never return. You are not the idiot. Sometimes burned bridges remained burned. Agreed. You don't get to put people through the ringer in a court system for 1+ years and then return to how it was. That's not how life works. They're on Find Out Street. It's 1 block over, after Screw Around Boulevard. Sorry, but they did it once. That is a bell that cannot be unrung. The relationship is forever changed. Who's to say they won't disagree with you two on something else and go lie to CPS? They lied in court as a strategy to win. Nothing is low enough for them. Their daughters distanced from them over this. They removed the trust and think an apology magically brings it back? LOL? Nope. My girlfriend, 25, had our son a few months ago, and he was a happy surprise. We had been together for over 3 years before she found out she was pregnant. For reference, I'm a 29-year-old male. We found out a month ago my girlfriend was pregnant. This was a shock. The due dates mean our children will be 10.5 months apart, which is obviously uncommon and shocking to us. My girlfriend was shocked and upset, not unhappy at the news, as she was worried about being pregnant again and having 2 small kids close together, along with hormones. I have been supportive, and we've started to feel the positives of the gift of having a child. We have started announcing this to family and friends. All seem horrified. The shockingly close gap, I assume, is the reason. In addition, a lot have shouted and blamed me. My mother-in-law recently told me that this was my fault and I should have been more careful and considerate. I responded something along the lines of, I didn't force or do anything. I also expressed my irritation at her comment. Now my mother-in-law is annoyed at me, and my girlfriend is annoyed, as I should have accepted the comments given that it is a shocking thing. Am I the idiot for being annoyed by people being bothered by our pregnancy news? You are the idiot by playing dumb. Wrap it up if you're too stupid to realize how babies are made, how much easier it is to get pregnant, freshly postpartum, for putting your girlfriend in this situation, and for taking away valuable time from your newborn in their first year of life. A lot of women, myself included, have been misled to believe that you aren't able to get pregnant until you get your first period, or as long as you breastfeed. I'm 31 and didn't learn this was false until I was newly postpartum and did some research. I'm not saying this is the case here, but it could be. Shockingly, a lot of people still believe it now. It's wild. Look, dude, I'm not going to pass judgment on you guys for going through with the pregnancy, but coming from an outside perspective, not spacing pregnancies can cause significant health issues for both the mother and the child. If I were your friend or your girlfriend's sister or mother or something, I would be scared to hear this news because of what it could mean for her health, her life, or your baby's life. And even if you two might have both been involved in the baby making, since she's the one who's physically undertaking the risk, it's a lot easier to vent some of those feelings onto you than the person who might deal with the consequences the hardest of all. I, 27 female, am in a bit of a dilemma. I've been seeing this guy for a couple of months, and we decided to go to a nice high-end restaurant for a date. Initially, I was going to wear a nice dark blue dress that I like to wear out, but he asked me to wear a different white dress that I'd shown him once, as it matched his outfit. I've never had a guy ask me this. The white dress in question was a gift from my late grandmother. It was quite expensive, so I was reluctant but agreed, and just asked that we didn't go anywhere after where I might spill something on it or otherwise mess it up. He mentioned clubbing after dinner, which is why I said that. I didn't want to risk messing the dress up. He said we could just go to dinner and I could change out of it before doing anything else. Great. However, the evening took a turn for the worse when he accidentally spilled his red wine all over my dress. He had gotten an unexpected call, and when he tried to mute his ringer quickly, his elbow hit his glass and it spilled all over the lap area of my dress before I could react. It was completely drenched and stained. He was apologetic at the time, and I tried to be cool about it. Still inside, I was devastated, especially since I had explicitly mentioned how I wanted to be careful wearing it. Later, I mentioned to him that the dress was costly and asked if he'd be willing to help clean or replace it. Getting it professionally cleaned and removing the stain would cost about $100, which I asked him to pay half of. To my surprise, he got quite defensive. He argued that it was an accident, that I was being unreasonable for expecting him to pay for something like that, and that it was my fault for wearing it out, knowing that it could have happened. It's a matter of principle. Yes, it was an accident, but the dress was ruined, and it was extremely sentimental to me, not to mention a valuable dress. He thinks I'm being materialistic and making a big deal out of nothing. Now I'm not sure how to feel about his reaction. Am I the idiot for expecting him to cover the cost? Not the idiot. You shouldn't have needed to ask. He should have offered to cover all the cleaning cost. Yes, it was an accident, but that doesn't absolve him of responsibility. The fact that he won't even cover half shows what kind of person he is, and how he's shifting the blame to you like he never suggested you wear it is gaslighting. It sucks that this relationship cost you your beautiful dress, but it's much less than your lifetime. This man is not a keeper. It's time to move on. I hope the cleaners can restore your dress to its original condition. Agree. Drop the guy and pay for the dress yourself and be happy. This failed relationship only cost you $100. I don't understand the mindset that because you accidentally did something, you're entirely off the hook for the consequences. Also, crappy of him to blame you for wearing it out when he specifically asked you to. Does he think this defense would work if he accidentally wrecked his car into someone? Or accidentally screwed something up at work? His actions have consequences. Geez. The real issue here, though, this guy won't even pay $50 for you? If I really fancy a girl, I will meet in the middle for stuff like that, at the very least. I wouldn't risk losing a good relationship over so little money. Lose that loser. I could be overreacting here, and depending on the opinions, I will apologize if needed. I gave birth to my husband and I's first and last baby a few months ago. We're both 30. My mother-in-law's 56. Since I gave birth, I've grown to hate this woman because of her unwanted opinions on parenting my daughter. Like coming here and telling me I can't pick my daughter up when she's crying because the baby's apparently just playing me and I'm going to regret it when my daughter becomes a Velcro kid who won't leave me alone. She said that when my daughter was a week old. She got angry at me for ignoring her and picking up my daughter anyway, and left after shaking her head. She started bringing clothes here for my daughter that were very obviously boys. Dark blue pants, dark red outfits that said stuff like, "Daddy's little dude," or had trucks all over them. When I commented on it, it was given a snarky, "She doesn't know what she's wearing, so I don't see why you care." Seems like a weird thing to be bothered by. It's free clothes and you should be thankful. But the thing is, she knowingly went out and bought this crap. It's not like it was hand-me-downs or something, which would have been more acceptable in my eyes. She started saying my baby looks nothing like me and just like her dad. I have red hair and blue eyes. My daughter has strawberry blonde and blue eyes. My husband has black hair and brown eyes. If the baby starts fussing because she's hungry, breastfed, she'll take the baby and pass her to my husband saying, "She just needs daddy." She then proceeded to act all put off by the fact that my husband almost immediately passed her to me so I could nurse her. She says I should start pumping so daddy can bond. Our daughter loves her dad, regardless of him being able to feed her. She rolls her eyes and then calls me a helicopter mom because I still wash my hands before holding my baby, and I honestly just hate this woman now. It's also passive-aggressive that I don't want to be near her. My husband knows. Our communication is excellent, but while he knows and understands my frustration, that's still his mom, and she's not technically hurting anyone. She's just making me angry. He's told her to tone it down, though, and back off. But yesterday, I honestly just had enough. I was given a card with $50 in it for Christmas from my husband's grandmother. She lives out of the country, and this is what she gives everyone for birthdays and holidays. My husband bought our daughter some playset using the money I got. My mother-in-law insisted on going with him to get it. She's had it for about a week now. Well, mother-in-law came here yesterday and said, "How does the baby like the seat that her daddy bought for her?" I knew it didn't really matter, but I was irritated and said, "I bought it for her. It was my money." Well, she goes, "You're not working, so it's daddy's money, actually. And he went to get it for her, so..." And I don't know. I just immediately told her to get the heck out and not come back until she learned some respect and stopped being a dumb witch for no reason. I did push it too far. I recognize that. And I did apologize for the name calling. But I don't want her here, and I'm sticking to that. My husband is irritated with me, however, because he's angrier that I kicked her out because in his eyes, she was acting like a witch and did deserve what I said, but didn't deserve to be kicked out and banned from the house. That's still his mom, and she's not technically hurting anything. She's just making me angry. This line says it all. How will he let his mom aggravate his wife for so long? Not the idiot. He should be upset at her and himself for not setting boundaries and enforcing them with her, which is what led to this point. She is harming their marriage. He's also not standing up for her. I wish I could go back and tell my mother-in-law to shut the heck up and get the heck out when I had my first. Mine stepped on my ingrown toenail a few days post C-section while I was holding a baby. That would have been the time I should have said it. OP, stop apologizing. You stood up for yourself because your husband won't. He should learn from you. Don't ever back down and stop apologizing to her. I'm willing to bet money you've never received one from her. So, bad news and worse news. You married a big-time mama's boy, and your mother-in-law is a massive idiot. Your husband holds the power here to have your back and enforce boundaries, but is making a conscious choice to enable his mom's bad behavior because she's his mommy. You need to sit down with your husband and have a serious talk about his mom's bad behavior and the boundaries surrounding your child. If your mother-in-law wants access to her grandchild, she would respect all parental boundaries because for every boundary broken, she will lose access to her grandchild, period. Get a lock for your bedroom door. When Granny oversteps, pick up the baby and retreat to the locked bedroom, announcing it's time for Granny's time out. I suggest insisting on a few sessions with a marriage counselor sooner rather than later. He doesn't get to hide his head in the sand and then act innocent and surprised when something goes down.